Hello friends, in this video we'll talk about how Polish society is handling a basic sanity test. We have three news stories. These are the pogrom in a Warsaw shop, visits from uninvited examiners in Poznan, and a medical bill for tens of thousands of zlotys for an elderly woman. At first glance, it seems like there's nothing in common except for Polish geography and the time frame of the summer of 26. But let's take a closer look. In my opinion, there is a certain systemic problem. We'll talk about it now. Please like and subscribe to the channel. Friends, right now, hit the like button to support aerodynamics, to support the working class. Click the bell icon. Now let's get down to business. Thank you for your support. So let's talk about how and why society is ready to descend into some kind of primitive aggression. Here's episode 1 right away. Let's start with the hot news from sunny Warsaw, where the story around the Lasrąg handmade craft gallery has received a perfectly predictable but still very interesting continuation. For those who don't know, a couple of days ago, on July 4th, a march in memory of the victims took place in the very center of the Polish capital. But we're talking primarily about the Volhynia tragedy, the Volhynia massacre, as the Poles call it. The date is undoubtedly tragic and calls for silence and mourning. But instead of a quiet remembrance, a few particularly gifted citizens, led by some radicals, turned on music, and gradually this march of remembrance turned into an anti-Ukrainian rally. Yes, well, they started shouting, "Kick everyone out." Well, obviously, what else would you do at such an event, right? People came here to escape the war. Should they be deported, right or wrong? Share your thoughts in the comments. So, a woman came out of the cozy little shop Lasrąg, the owner of the store. She didn't start any protests. She just stood there and silently showed the approaching crowd 2 fingers pointing down. This is a symbol that the memory of past tragedies should not be mixed with hatred toward living people who have nothing to do with it. But of course, that's when the full range of patriotic responses kicked in. First, the online special forces kicked in. The offended street fighters started review bombing the store on Google Maps, leaving those kinds of reviews. Within a couple of hours, the shop's page got hit with 350, of course, fabricated negative reviews. The bot citizens got creative. They accused the gallery of selling cheap Chinese goods, low-quality animal abuse, basically anything that came to mind. All sorts of rudeness, right? They finished the attack by marking the location on the map as permanently closed, but it didn't end with the internet because radical zeal needs an outlet. Out in the real world, what, are they supposed to keep all that hatred to themselves? The store owners started receiving direct threats of physical violence. The climax came on Monday, July 6th, when a man burst into the store and trashed the place, destroying unique handmade items and damaging the interior. The police, I have to say, acted promptly as far as I know. The first suspect has been caught in the Lesser Poland voivodeship, and law enforcement is reviewing surveillance footage, so more detainees are likely. Let's hope so. The most interesting thing here is that as the Polish press writes, we don't believe it, we absolutely don't believe it. But some spiteful voices say that among the participants of the march, people with tattoos of the Black Sun, the SS symbol, are clearly visible. And they are trying to teach society about historical memory, smashing the shop of a woman whose own uncle was tortured by the UPA, and whose family had officers of the Home Army and victims of Crimea. Lawka Lasrąg has spent 16 years doing real charity, feeding the homeless for free at the train station and teaching Polish to refugees. But for the rioters, it's like you're doing something completely wrong. Yes, and by the way, this is what the Polish press writes, so of course we don't believe it. That's the kind of activists they are. What can I say? They started a fundraiser online. I also suggest everyone join in. If anyone has 3 or 5 zlotys, send the money. Not to me, by any means. There will be a link in the description. They've already raised a good amount. I think it's 120,000 zlotys. So, well, the store needs to be restored. Huge thanks to everyone who is taking part in this. Well, as they say, the most interesting thing is that it's a Polish woman. I mean, she's Polish. And the patriots aren't really choosing anymore. My God, what difference does it make whose shop they smash up? To smash. Honestly, if someone had told me this 5 or 10 years ago, I wouldn't have believed it. Next, this isn't the end yet, my friends. The second episode, while Warsaw is counting the damage from the pogroms, yes, those kinds of riots, In Poznan, the level of public absurdity is no less than in the capital. A group of men decided to try on, well, I don't know, probably the mantle of inquisitors. They carried out a raid in the style of the thought police. The target of the attack was an office in the building of one of the local universities. The premises are rented by a Ukrainian citizen who legally provides legal assistance. That is, he helps foreigners with documents and legalizing their stay in Poland. Well, just regular office work. I think there are plenty of such offices in a city like this now. And what's most interesting is that these two alternatively gifted guys said, "Do you help legalize people's stay?" Do you help legalize people's stay? So does that mean your clients are in the country illegally? And honestly, I can't believe that adults can ask such questions. Well, let's just watch this wonderful video. It's a minute and a half long. Who hasn't seen it yet?
I'd like to see what you think about Stepan Bandera, Shutovich.
And you, who are you anyway?
I myself am a member of Sobolak.
Well, Shamil is too. And you, who are you anyway?
Wait, I want to see what you, Radovan, think about this. Because I have some kind of misunderstanding, it's confusing. Is this your people's, I wanted to know, do you want to work? Who? Medvedchuk, do you also think that you are a people's general? We won't get it ourselves.
So what is it?
I want to work so that you can live.
I think...
Why should we somehow submit to those people you help legalize?
No.
No. Polish law allows me to stay here. I do everything legally, I act legally, and please, what right do you have to ask why I am here and what I am doing here?
So I answer because I have...
No, we just want to know what's going on here. Do you also support Stepan Bandera?
No one visualizes Stepan Bandera on the territory of Bulgaria in general. Ah, well, yes, but to my mom on the right. No, it's just, you see here it's about Stepanka, that's right. Stepanka the opponent in no way. Ask.
Why aren't they being hired then?
I'm not into that, but I don't know what it is.
I live in Poland because I want to.
And how did it happen that you got such a favorable rate, a whole 1,200 zlotys for rent, when here in the center the rent is around 3,000?
If you would come, please, with an official request. We didn't come, but we can help support this authority. That's normal, right?
That's the news, friends, so don't be surprised if someone knocks on your door, asks and says, well, show me how many portraits of Bandera you have here. Don't be surprised, friends. Yes, as you can see, the very fact that a Ukrainian woman is in Poland outraged the local activists. Who allowed her to breathe the wonderful Polish air? What is this? Well, basically, it's an intense interrogation, right? Instead of questions about licenses or taxes, those who came started aggressively demanding her personal opinion about Stepan Bandera and Roman. Yes, you can write in the comments what you think. Do people have the right to ask such questions or not? In short, the video is now circulating widely on social media. Sorry, honestly, I just don't know. Maybe I'm just young, naive, and foolish. I don't understand anything. What does any historical or other kind of discussion have to do with the current process of getting residence permits? Honestly, it's hard for me to understand. The university administration and law enforcement are staying silent for now, but the incident itself looks extremely alarming, and I think this is just the beginning, my friends. Next, here's another story, though it's not as interesting. Bureaucracy steamrolling a grandmother. Spoiler alert, the grandmother is 100 years old. So in the first two cases, we saw situations involving some activists and patriots, but here, well, the state steps onto the stage. The state is present. A woman, 99 years old, Valentina. She was escaping from the fighting and moved from Ukraine to Poland to be with her daughter. On June 19, 2026, the elderly woman suffered a severe ischemic stroke. The ambulance takes her to the Military Medical Institute. The doctors saved the grandmother's life, but after 5 days, staff considered their job done and sent her home with recommendations. The daughter is in shock because her mother is in severe pain, has a high fever, faces serious stroke effects, and needs constant care. But the hospital management had their own considerations, and together with... In short, along with the discharge, the relatives received a bill for almost 20,000 zlotys. Valentina, 99 years old, I repeat, the grandmother, has a pension of 650 zlotys. That is, the state hospital issued a bill that exceeds the grandmother's income by more than 30 times. The relatives asked to understand the situation, to write off the debt or at least somehow spread out the payments. But no, they refused. It can't be done. If you don't like it, go to Ukraine to Zelensky and he'll cover everything for you. because it's not allowed by law. Valentina has UKR status, but the rules of the game in Poland have changed recently. The National Health Fund refused to issue voluntary health insurance, demanding a residence card. Well, at least that's what the article says. And so the bureaucratic tango began. No card, no insurance, and without insurance pay 20,000 zlotys, yes. Because the grandmother is almost 100 years old, just a year short. That's your personal problem. That's how it is, my friends. Yes, there is after all an ending to this story, and it gives hope. If you put all these stories together, yes, the picture is rather bleak for Ukrainians in Poland. Public institutions, laws, all sorts of patriots are trying to take it out on those who are either just working or completely helpless. How could you not pick on them, right? Well, and under the guise of protecting national interests, people simply lose their basic humanity. Well, I honestly believe that none of these stories ended with the triumph of evil, and that happened solely because of the reaction of ordinary, decent people. The devastated La Sarong store didn't close because the residents of Warsaw, among others, flooded it with flowers, started buying handicrafts en masse, and wrote honest, positive reviews. So the announced fundraiser, yes, I think it's already at 120,000, maybe even more. I think if you follow the link, you'll see that it's already more than that. That should cover repairs and security for now. Let's hope this wave in Poland settles down. So, and the owner said that if anything is left over, he will donate it to charity for a year. Yes, Valentina Pani's astronomical bill also didn't remain hanging over, I think, a not very wealthy family. After the media coverage, the necessary amount was fully provided by the Polish Migration Forum Foundation. A huge thank you to them. We wish the woman good health. So the debt has been settled. In short, while street lowlifes compete in cruelty and in searching for enemies, it is civil society that is passing the test of humanity. Ordinary people understand a simple truth. For evil to triumph, it's enough for good people to simply do nothing and stay silent. And as long as there are those who are willing to act, society still has a chance to keep its dignity, my friends. That's my humble opinion. And once again, since we've already started talking about these topics, I want to show you a video. It's by a Pole, so please watch the video until the end. Practice your Polish a little because the video is good, heartfelt, and basically everything is clear. Let's just watch.
Everyone would live better if we stopped falling for dull nationalist propaganda, no matter which nation it comes from. Because here's an interesting fact. No one wants to face their own difficult, complicated past. Whether it's Russians, Americans, Ukrainians, Poles, or Germans, because people tend to avoid things that are unpleasant for them. And no, I'm not saying that we should forget about our national tragedies, but if our historical policy is supposed to aim at commemorating the victims of the Volhynia massacre, then at the same time, it should also aim at not hiding from ourselves or others what Poles did to Ukrainians before World War II or after World War II. And no, there's no point in comparing the scale of these tragedies, because that would only lead to a pointless argument about who the hell had it worse in the past, and that leads nowhere. Because all the people who died in Volhynia in 42 or 43 or 44, they've just been rotting in the ground since then. They're gone, they don't care. It's only us who care about this. And we only care about it because thanks to this conflict, other people can build their political capital. Because let's think about it. Do we have a clean record with any neighboring country? With the Swedes? No. With the Lithuanians? No. With the Belarusians? Also no. With the Ukrainians? Also no. With the Czechs? No. With the Germans? Oh fuck, even less so. With Russia? Absolutely not. But everywhere around us, there's only the Polish-Ukrainian conflict. And why? Because someone profits from it. Because someone is fucking fueling it. If we as Poles want to fight the myth of the Ukrainian insurgent army, then we as Poles also have to fight the myth of the Immaculate Home Army. We have to fight the myth of the Second Polish Republic, which supposedly cared for its citizens. We have to fight the myth of the noble idol. We have to fight the Polish martyrdom narrative. Because in this country we have to take responsibility and admit to our historical mistakes. But nobody fucking wants to do that. The truth is that our enemy is not Ukraine, it's not Ukrainians. Our enemy is Russia. Vladimir Putin's Russia, because it's at Russia's instigation that acts of sabotage are happening in Poland. It's at Russia's instigation that a wave of hatred is sweeping through Poland. And if talking about forgiveness and looking for our own faults is too difficult and unacceptable, think about the fact that practically at the same time as the Volhynia massacre, Poles were also being murdered by Russians. The Polish operation carried out by the NKVD just before World War II, or the Katyn massacre, where over 20,000 people were murdered. That's already 130,000 people in just 2 actions. But after all, Russia is supposed to be that oasis of normality, right? And remember, we choose what unites us and we choose what divides us. Poles and Ukrainians were brought together in 2022. Because we gave something of ourselves without expecting anything in return, and Ukrainians will never forget that. Unless we continue to practice our beautiful Polish historical hypocrisy.
Well, that's the opinion some Poles have, and it's hard for me not to agree with it. Of course, there will definitely be some who will say, "What are you talking about? Are you crazy? You should be shot for saying that. Of course, we can't do that. Our channel is all about peace, friendship, and chewing gum." Pay attention to the comments and see how many appear. I can't tell if they're bots or real people. They'll say you should be killed or have your passport taken. All right, but if they take my passport away, how is your life going to get any happier because of that? All right, let's not talk about my relationship with haters right now, because that's a thankless topic. Just listen to a smart person, leave a like, friends, and write a good comment. Let's believe that good will win in the end. Common sense. By the way, I want to say that I met some Polish people in Turkey. We talked there. They were quite reasonable, a man and a woman, and even though they were from an older generation, I'm not that young myself, but they were older. Throughout our conversation, they never asked the question, "Why did you even come to Poland? Who gave you the right? Are you a Banderite?" Not even once. I wonder why. What do you think? Write in the comments. In general, leave likes and write comments. That's all for now. Take care of yourself and your loved ones. Our proletarian greetings to the entire working class. See you next time.